Hi, and welcome to Good Luck and Have Fun with Josh and Devin. I'm Devin.
And I'm Josh.
Oh, that was great. I loved it.
You guys would have to see his face. I had to do it that way.
I have a smile, as I always do. So, welcome to our inaugural episode. Today, I'm going to be talking to Josh.
And every day after this.
And every day forever. Because he's my brother now. And I love him. I've been meaning to tell you. I'm just, okay. Anyway. Well, yes. Today and every day, we're going to be talking about gaming. And today specifically, I think we're going to be talking about bringing people back to gaming together.
Well, that's part of it. We just went through this 25-minute conversation about how you're going to ask me a shit ton of questions, though.
Yes. Because I think to start, people want to know who we are, right?
Yeah.
And I specifically want to know who you are because I've known you for a little while now.
That's not a good story.
Oh, it's a great story because every person's story is great to me.
Oh,
but
okay.
I met you at your store. You own a LAN gaming center.
Yes.
Yes. I met you at a Hearthstone event trying to get Nemsy, the new hero, which I did get, and thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It was a great time.
Yeah, it was. There was 50 people showed up that day.
It was
pretty
packed.
incredible. Yeah.
It was amazing. And I looked around and I thought, this is great, you know? I really did. I loved it. I love that you were bringing people together to game. Like, when I was a kid, that was the best part of gaming. I didn't care so much about the games. I cared about the people.
Yeah, everybody did.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And after I came once, I had to keep coming back.
It's hard.
It's hard not
it's
to
hard
come
not
back.
to come back. Yeah.
Because it's the people like me. It's the people who want to be playing games. We all are playing the same games. We're all doing the same stuff. But I'm tucked away in my cave on my couch with my laptop. That's where I play. But now I get up and I go at 6:00 every day, just about, right?
Yeah.
I come down to the shop and I play at your shop.
Here's the Storm and Hearthstone.
Here's the Storm and Hearthstone.
And Overwatch.
And Overwatch now. You guys got me on that Overwatch. Oh no.
Sorry about that.
No, it's great. I'm enjoying it. It's not a bad thing. And that's another great thing about it. I get to explore new things with new people.
Sure.
Right? So let's start with you. Where are you from, Josh?
Born in California, raised in Georgia, became an adult in Virginia.
Became an adult. I like it. That is a major turning point. That is exactly. Yeah. So, what made you want to buy the LAN center? The Forge, by the way. The Forge is the name of this.
8026 West Broad
8026 West Broad Street, Richmond,
Virginia. We had to get the plug. Have to get it out of the way.
I'll make sure we get the plug in every time. Our sponsor today is The Forge. Our sponsor today and every day.
It was a lot of things, right? So I helped the original owner start the business in the first place, and I came up with me and these two guys. They're both named Ryan. I just call them the Ryans.
Ryans. Sound like great guys.
And we all kind of convinced the original owner, hey, this is a good way to go. If you're gonna try to sell anime out of this place, you have so much more space. You can also include all this other stuff. So we talked about consoles and we talked about PCs and things like that. And then over the years, as the owner, I kind of consulted for him a little bit. And anytime he needed some help, I just put my 2 cents in. So some of it is blood, sweat, and tears that I helped put into it. I've got my OG pants in there. They're covered in green, black, and blue paint from when we painted the store in the first place. And some of it is I would have lost my second home because the owner was going to either close down or sell it to somebody else. And I don't think that there's anybody else that could run a community better than I can. So I bought it.
So from what I'm hearing, I think you bought it for the community.
Yeah, 100%.
That is something that I can appreciate.
Yeah,
I like that.
And
it's brought me in. It's a wonderful community, a great group of people, all coming together, and they all have their own personalities. But in the end, we're all the Forge. We together make the Forge.
And I kind of, just to touch on how we came up with the name in the first place.
Yes, please tell me. I don't know.
So we always thought of the anime kids as like the geeks. Like if you put
The geeks of the geek world.
the geeks of the geek world,
Yes.
exactly, and then your video gamers are your jocks of the geek world, right? Because the jocks the jocks always made fun of the geeks, so
You're
I mean it's
absolutely
always
right.
like that.
And you know what? I hate that that's true, but I kind of agreed with you.
But at the Forge, it's not the case.
No, it's really not.
Yeah. We're mutually inclusive of each other, so we go into the back, and so we're forging relationships not just with other people that we're playing games with, but also people that enjoy anime and other things that are inclusive of the geek world.
Right, because we're all basically just the same. We all are obsessed with
A thing.
a thing.
Yeah.
That's what a geek is, or that's what a nerd is, just somebody who's obsessed with something.
Yeah.
And we just happen to be obsessed with games. And that's how you got me to come there, is just hanging out with the people. Actually, I for a long time, I would just, I didn't even get any computer time. I just kind of sat at the table and hung with you guys.
That's true, yeah, and you played Hearthstone with us and stuff.
Yeah, played Hearthstone at the events, and that was... But it just eventually led to me wanting to play. And honestly, you know what? I do love playing, but sometimes I just want to sit. Sometimes I just want to hang, you know? A lot of times I just want to sit and hang, because sometimes I feel terrible at the games, but no one ever makes me feel terrible.
Well, we do, but in a joking, loving
In a joking,
manner. Yeah.
Constructive criticism, we'll call it.
Sure.
When it's friends.
Sure. More headshots,
More headshots.
by the way. More headshots.
Look, sometimes you can't tell where their head is, okay? Like...
True that.
Bastion, I don't know where to shoot him when he's
In his butt.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yeah, so when he's in turret mode, you just shoot him in the butt.
Oh. By the way, everyone, a little extra bit of knowledge for you. So, you're 29 years old, correct?
Yes.
Right. And I'm about 27,
Yes.
give or take. But, okay, I'm exactly 27. And, you know, when we were growing up, like, what was your earliest gaming memory, would you say?
Oh, Miss Pac-Man on Atari with my grandmother.
That is adorable.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, it's the first game that came out on. It's the first Pac-Man game that came out that's multiplayer.
That's awesome. I love that.
So
Because
my origin story literally starts with a community.
one of my earliest video game memory is playing Nintendo at my grandmother's house.
It's awesome.
Playing Super Mario 3 and Duck Hunt.
Super Mario 3 was a good one. Yeah.
That
I played all of it. All the Super Marios. Super Mario 1, 2, 3.
of course.
Super Mario Brothers, or what was it? The Super Mario World or something on the SNES? Yeah, I played all those.
I remember playing Super Mario World 2 or Super Mario Brothers 2, the crappy one.
Oh,
thinking,
yeah.
this is kind of weird, but it's Mario, so I'm gonna play it. But that's funny that we both have. It's both of our grandmothers that got us into it.
Which is, yeah, which is really awkward. And then the next thing that she got me into was the Game Boy. So she was actually the one that
Josh,
started my full-on career.
we did not discuss this before the podcast. This is completely spontaneous. My grandmother, I remember, all right, the day that Pokemon Red and Blue came out
Oh boy.
in America.
Oh yeah.
My grandmother took me to the store and bought me Pokemon Red and a green Game Boy Color. And I sat on the couch, and I remember sitting on just with it.
Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Have you ever tried using a Game Boy and laying down
I
like
had,
that?
I had the old one too. I had the big brick.
I
too.
can't tell you how
But
many
I got
times
that
that thing
from
hit
my,
me in the face.
I got that from my uncle. I played Zelda on that. That was the only game I had for the big
Link to
one.
the Past, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I had that one.
But
I wasn't very good at it. I thought the trees were watermelons.
they do kind of look like watermelons now that I think about it. That I spent days. I would spend the whole summer with her sometimes up in Long Island, New York, before she moved down to Florida, as old people are wont to do. But I would spend
Or Colorado these days.
Oh, for the cool old people.
For the cool old people, yeah.
But yeah, I spent days and days just staring up at that thing, listening to the music. I can still remember the music. Remember my grandmother telling me things and not remembering what she said because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so interesting that your grandmother also got you into that. That's like, we did not discuss this beforehand.
Sorry.
No, that's great. That's great. It's amazing that we are like these things are so similar. So, what would you say some of your favorite memories from gaming are? What is it that playing these games? What made you love it? Would you say
I'd say hands down, it's always been the competition.
competition? Really?
Yeah, I'm a big competitive gamer. So like, if you sit me down and we play Super Mario Kart on SNES, now I don't know all the like map hacks to like fall up underneath the map and come back out like at the end. But
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like if you wanted to play a legit game, that's where it started. It was with me and my cousin Jason, and then like it even got worse like as time went on. Red and Blue version, when those came out on Game Boy, I renamed my rival his name. And he did the same thing for me.
So your cousin is your rival.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
it's always been like that. We've always had like this really fun competitive nature between the two of us. And we would always choose like the opposing Pokemon. So if I chose Squirtle, he would always get
Charmander or
Charmander.
Venusaur. Well, who took Bulbasaur when they were kids, you know?
Yeah, nobody.
I respect Bulbasaur now, though.
Yeah.
Bulbasaur
I
is
can
pretty
respect
great.
him, but Squirtle's still the coolest, hands down.
Yeah, except I took Charmander, so I think I'm on your cousin's side.
But yeah,
But
it was
it's
always
because
like
I had Pokemon Red, maybe. I think that's why I picked Charmander. Felt like the right thing to do.
And then that kept going all the way up until now. Like I have a like, even when we would play single player games, me and my cousin would sit next to each other. So like he's playing Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy 9, 8, whatever, and one of us has the strategy guide open. And so like we're sitting there and he's playing the game or I'm playing the game and we're flipping through like, okay, there's this super secret thing over here, but we always tried to complete the game first without that. But it was always a 2-player game because we're like, hey, what's off over on the left, you know? Because one person might be just like, oh, you know, screw it, I'm just going to run the quests. And then the other person might be like, oh, but what's over there? And so they get frustrated because now
There's
they're
some
curious.
people who are the main quest people and some of the side quest people.
Yeah,
I
so we
get
did
it.
that a lot.
See, I'll jump forward a little bit by I don't know 20 years, but when Skyrim came out, I remember me and my friends all bought Skyrim, and we all sat in my friend Josh's apartment.
Not me, by the way.
Not that Josh. I apologize. I should disclaimer: different Josh, Pennsylvania Josh. We'll call him.
Okay.
P. Josh.
PJ.
PJ. Yeah, PJ's a different. The PJ's the friend that we played Halo with.
Oh.
But we'll discuss that later. But Josh and I and our friend Damien all sat in a row with our 3 TVs and our 3 Xboxes and our 3 strategy guides and just played. And every once in a while we'd check over with everybody else, see like what's going on over there, because I'm more of a side quest guy. I don't like the main stuff. I'll do every side quest before I even start the main quest.
You should
sometimes.
play Horizon.
Horizon Zero Dawn? Yeah, I've already finished that. Thank you.
Really? Yeah. All the side quests too?
Everything. 100%.
Good job.
Every collectible and everything. I'm very meticulous when it comes to my gaming. But yeah, that where was I? Now I've lost my train of thought.
Oh, my bad. You were talking about Pennsylvania.
Oh
Josh.
yeah, Josh playing Skyrim just in a row. See, with me the gaming was never about. I'm less competitive. For me, it's more just the camaraderie, I think, because I've never been that great at games necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can be above average, but I've never exactly been transcendent, you know,
Sure.
as some people are. Heroes is probably my best game, and I'm not really that great at that. I've played thousands of games, enough to know basic things, but, you know, for me, it wasn't the competitiveness. It was just the playing, I think. I never really wanted to win. Well, let's not say I didn't want to.
That's where the fun is. What are you talking about?
I think maybe because I never did, I just learned to appreciate it in a different way. Like, Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
Gears of War was a nightmare for me because I was terrible. Just full on terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have Gears Night where we would all bring our games, and we had about 9 people at my friend, this was Casey's house. And we would all have our own little TVs, and we would all be playing Gears together. And I would be getting killed 100 times, and my team would be yelling at me, but in a loving way.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I was always last pick, because we would do,
Damn it, fam.
Fam was my old nickname. So this is not just a general. that was not just a general, fam. That was a specific targeted fam.
You're welcome.
But it never mattered. It never mattered that I would die the most and kill the least.
Mm-hmm.
It just mattered that I was there, And I think that's what's so great about the store. And it's bringing that feeling back, which is what we're here to do. We want to bring that feeling of being together back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm playing Overwatch with the people at the store, right? I played with Marcus and with Nick. Now Marcus, a co-worker of yours, a manager at the store,
mm-hmm.
is a top-level Grandmaster Overwatch player.
At one point.
He's
master now, but yeah.
Oh, geez.
But he's master on like 7 different accounts. So.
Right. So he could be Grandmaster if he wanted.
Yeah.
I played with him, and he didn't make me feel bad for the fact that I totally threw the game for us, and we definitely lost because of me and only me.
No,
But he didn't make me feel that way because we're friends, and it brought that feeling back that you don't really get anymore with these games. Now that when we're playing with people from all over the world, from anywhere, you don't really have the anonymity and the not seeing each other. It does bring out this sort of apathy, I think, instead of empathy. You don't feel what the other person feels. They
Mm-hmm.
suddenly become just
a person like a bot that's...
right. Exactly. They are a bot because you don't see. You know that they're there, but you don't take that time to say, this person
is a person.
Is a person, and not just that. They're just me. They're trying to do the same thing I'm doing. And just because maybe I'm having a good game right now and they're having a bad one, we've got to be more careful about how we're treating each other, I think, is what's most important.
I agree. Yeah.
But there needs to be more empathy in gaming. Because, like, some of the guys I played Heroes with before I met you, I haven't played with them in a little bit, but one of them in particular, I won't name names. Well, never mind. I'm not going to name the name. I was going to name the name.
I know.
I thought about naming the name, but if he ever listens to this, I'll feel bad. But he's really, really bad. Not that he knows how to play the game, but he'll just sort of walk out into areas not paying attention, and he'll just...
Oh, this sounds like me.
Yeah, sounds like Marcus. Marcus was on the other side of some tower the other day, and I'm like, how did you even get there? Like,
but he got the kill, didn't he?
He did get the kill.
He always gets the kill, dude.
He did get the kill.
Always gets it.
But I played hundreds of games with him now.
Yeah, sure.
And I think if I hadn't met him at the right game on the right day, I never would have had that friend.
Sure.
Because if I had seen him play the way he plays sometimes, I might have raged. Like, I might have... I'm honestly, I've been working on it myself. Because I do get that feeling of... They've made these games into, like, competitive in a way that's not healthy the way your friendly rivalry with your cousin is. You know, it's more... It feels like so much rides on it now.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know why
they've
made it...
To touch on that point, I'm sure at some point we might get a listener that's played WoW.
That's
World of Warcraft. Sorry.
World of Warcraft made by Blizzard Entertainment. Yeah, I think I've heard of it once.
Just about every game, by the way, that we're ever going to talk about is going to be Blizzard Entertainment.
There's a lot of Blizzard in our
There's a lot of Blizzard.
in our play.
It's kind of cold.
A little chilly on our side.
Yeah, a little chilly.
That.
But I'm not going to say they ruined the game by any means or any stretch. However, there was for anybody that's played Vanilla WoW, you understood the community. Okay, there was always somebody in general chat that you knew. You forcefully put people on your friends list that if you were a hardcore raider, if your guild couldn't, like, let's say you needed an alchemist, like you needed specific potions, you knew who on the server to go to because they had that potion, right? It's the same thing with, and people are going to shit all over me for this, but same thing on Moonguard, right? I know that some people are just trolls by looking at their name. And there are some people that even know the alts of those people, like the alternate characters. Right. But focusing back in on my point, Blizzard created this system where you queue up into a raid or a dungeon, and you get matched up with 4 random people. We call them pickup groups. Now, back in the day, that had a different meaning. You would find people that were on your server in general trade or looking for group to join into your group to do things. And then if they didn't do well, or let's say they stole an item, every server had a blacklist. So you would go to the server forum and you would see a blacklist or a whitelist or something there that said, don't put these people in your group. So why this is important, and I'll even give you a real life example, because we had something similar happen in Smash 4 at the store.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
those people had no names, but
stay tuned for an interesting story.
Those people had to either change their names or switch servers. So there was repercussions for being an asshole.
So you, within a community, created your own policing system almost.
Every community does this.
Right, yeah. Of course. They've turned... Okay, I get what you're saying.
Right.
What am I trying to say? I should probably think about what I try to say before I start
so
talking.
I'll
right?
Continue. With this new pickup group system, you lose that policing system. So the people that are just really, really bad, or the people that are just completely trolling the entire group, they don't heal, they don't do this, they don't do that properly. Instead of asking for advice, because you don't want to be put on that blacklist, right? If you don't want to be on there, you're going to ask, hey guys, how's my healing? How's my tanking? How's my damage? Right? Is there a way that you guys know of that I can improve it? You are actively trying to better yourself in the game.
Now, okay, I do think there has been, I have noticed a trend towards I'm right. In the sense that I play this game. I've played this game a lot. So why exactly do you think you can tell me how to play it better?
Not just that, right? We have Twitch. So you have people that study professionals playing the game and think that at bronze tier... that strategy still works, and it doesn't.
I think
all the time.
you know what? That is an interesting thing. I hadn't really thought about the Twitch aspect of it. The seeing people play at a professional level so often.
Yep.
Right. That's interesting because, yeah, So professional gaming has become more is on the forefront now instead of how it used to be. Because it used to be professional gamers were kind of weird. You know, let's be honest. Like have you seen King of Kong?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a documentary. It's about a guy who was trying to break the world record for Donkey Kong.
Okay.
And he's a little weird. Nice guy, but you can tell that spending your whole day in front of an arcade cabinet is sort of similar to what we have now, where you're just sitting in front alone in front of a screen.
Yeah.
You know, and I do think that's become an issue. It almost feels like it's come back. Like there was a point in the middle. There was the arcade, and then there was the point where it's at home and you can play together. And now you can play together, but you're not at home. You're online.
Yes.
Which is a completely different world.
Yes.
We use okay. Now I'm a little lost for words, That's not great for a podcast, right?
No, it's fine.
We can cut this. We can bleep this out.
No. We're keeping it. We're keeping it.
No, bleep.
I like this because our viewers are going to get to, if we ever get any, are going to get to know us as people that think of stuff on the fly. And I don't want anything to be edited. In other words.
Okay, I like that. Hey.
Yeah. Raw footage.
This is all stream of consciousness, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
We have notes, and we each have about 5 lines written down. That's stuff that we have been talking about currently, just so we can remember.
And we haven't even gotten to the actual topic yet, which is great.
Right. Well, I think we are.
We're on the verge. We're on the verge.
We're
on the verge.
Because, I mean, our topic, I guess we can say it now that we're talking about it, is bringing people back to gaming together, right?
Well, that's every podcast's topic. So that's the overarching umbrella for all of these.
Okay, that's what we want for our Good Luck Have Fun.
Yeah, the one specifically for today is around couch play. So what does couch play mean? It's a new feature that is on the back of, feature in quotation.
Well, quote unquote feature.
Yeah. For anybody that's as old as we are, oh god, ancient.
Late 20s.
We all sat down on somebody else's bed at some point and played split screen Halo, split screen, Mario Kart. Like, just you name it, like
Smash
Donkey Kong
Brothers,
Racing. Like you've played it. Crash Team Racing. Like, just you've played it. That feature is slowly being phased out. So, as an example, Call of Duty used to be split screen, but because so many hardcore Call of Duty players complained about it, split screen is no longer a thing, which means that in order to play with your friends in person, you have to have two monitors, 2 PlayStations or Xboxes, 2 this, 2 that. Like, you have to double everything. So your LAN went from, for Halo 1, Halo 2, and Halo 3, you were able to have 8 people play on 2 consoles.
Yes.
In order for you to do that now, you have to have 8 consoles, 8 people, 8 TVs all in one place. That's impossible unless you come to my LAN center.
Which is
another plug.
What was it? What was the address?
8026 West Broad Street. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with this whole community thing is.
You're right. I didn't really think of it like that, but it is exponential. It goes from 2 Xboxes, 8 people, to 8 Xboxes.
It's literally impossible for you to go over to a friend's house and play a video game.
That's what we're talking. Couch play is now considered. It's now on the back of the box. You have
It's
to
a
look
feature.
on the back, and it's called couch play. You can play with each other. That is an odd thing. That is really sad.
Yeah, and you can't, even though you know these people in real life. Let's say that you and I go and we play World War II. Each one of us on our own respective PlayStations. You go home, you play it on yours, and we're talking through voice.
Right.
If I say something that comes across crass in chat, but in reality is a joke, you wouldn't know that, and I wouldn't know that I hurt your feelings.
It's very similar to text messaging.
Yeah.
You can't always get the tone when you're not together.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
I think that does have a lot to do with online interactions. That
you don't get the full message.
Right. You can't feel the empathy because you're not seeing the person.
That's right.
I think it all comes down to empathy. It all comes down to knowing how other people feel and understanding that you have those thoughts too, and that we're all just people trying to get through.
Yeah.
Get through life. None of us know what we're doing, and none of us know what the answer is, and we have found solace in gaming.
Yeah.
That's where we found some semblance of purpose.
Right. But it started to fall apart, for me anyway, when that looking for group system came out. I used to be hardcore World of Warcraft player. Like, I knew everybody on our server. I was friends with a lot of people. I got pulled into tons of raids because they knew that I was a world-class healer. Like, it was great. Right. And then that died when pickup groups started to actually, when looking for group and looking for raid and things like that.
Hit the button and
Yeah, you hit the button and you get matched up with
whoever
24 other people, and now you're downing.
And it becomes numbers instead of
That's right.
people. I totally understand. See, I played World of Warcraft as well. Right around Wrath of the Lich King era.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember some of the best times I had was with my 10-man Wade group.
Wade group.
Just gonna take a quick sip of this. I do. I watch Jeopardy every day. Don't you mock me with that. Now I feel bad.
All right, Alec.
Alec.
I thought it was Alec Trebek. Oh no, it is Alex Trebek. I was thinking of Alec Baldwin. Holy crap.
Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, next host of Jeopardy. You heard it here first. But the essence of this, I think, comes down to feeling like even in a community, our community is splintered.
Yeah.
Like, we are all gamers, right? But like you said with anime kids, or I don't want to call
I probably shouldn't call them anime kids. It's
right,
just what
that's
I
what
do,
I'm saying.
yeah.
It is known. Like, it is a known thing. There's the people who like and enjoy anime, and then they are seen as sort of the nerdier people within the community, even though it's our community.
And they have the best cosplayers.
They do. And that's, some of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. Like, structurally, like, engineering-wise, that's its own level.
Yeah.
But the idea that we could even exclude someone within our own community when our community is based almost entirely off of our exclusion.
Yes.
It's so many people got into games because they were excluded, and it brought them together. Because, like, I'll go back to my Halo 3 times. Me and my friends skipping school for days and days when it came out, all playing, all LAN, all hooked up, 4 different Xboxes. We had one really long, like 100-foot Ethernet cable that we had to get to run it all the way downstairs to make sure nobody's looking at our team screen.
Oh yeah.
And even then, it sort of felt like there was this sort of brain, like, all of those guys, we were all friends because we lived near each other. Mm-hmm. Or actually, I didn't even live in that neighborhood. That was in a place called Lake Caroline. That's where a lot of my friends were, and I lived in another subdivision, but I would come there. And it all started because I had one friend, Anthony. He was my friend, and he got me knowing all these other people, and they became my friends. But what really brought us together was the games. We would all get together and play, and it took me from Anthony's friend to Devin, by playing with these guys. And I think that is sort of the underrated aspect of what our era of gaming, I should say, like our adolescent era of gaming brought, is that the games almost forced you to be together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
It seemed odd not to play split screen.
Yeah.
Like, to play separately.
To be honest with you, I kind of miss having games that don't require the internet.
Exactly. That is, I absolutely miss that too. And I miss just being together, and all, it didn't matter. None of it mattered. None of it mattered who we were at all. Obviously we were all pretty similar, but it didn't matter our little idiosyncrasies. It didn't matter the things that you look at yourself and don't like, your insecurities. It never mattered.
Let me circle back to that community policing thing that you were talking about a little bit earlier.
Yes.
So, real life example, every Sunday we have, I'm not going to say large anymore. It used to be large. think that part of the reason why it's not large anymore is there's a inherent skill gap between people just entering Smash 4 and people that have been in it for 4.5 years.
See, every Sunday Smash 4
Yeah.
community.
Sorry, I probably should have.
You kind of cut off and then came back. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Okay. We're there.
So we had this one guy. Actually, we've had several, but this one in particular that I know about. That I was playing an ass Captain Falcon. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I just picked the game up, right? And he beat me with Olimar, which is like this super low tier character sort of thing. And at the end of the match, he shit talked me to my face. Now, this kid is literally like 11, okay, and I'm 27 at the time, and all I could say was, "Good games, man. I enjoyed it." Right? All the while, he's still shit talking me. Right? But that's because he grew up with the anonymity of the internet. Right? So he doesn't understand what it means to have a conversation in person.
Yeah, you're right. It is sort of this world that we've created. We've taken that sort of, like, the good game, like I say, GG, the classic. There's sort of people don't like sincerity anymore. People don't believe sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the internet, nothing seems sincere.
That's true, yeah.
No one ever seems, so much like, it's like text messaging. You can't exactly get the tone.
Unless you exaggerate the hell out of it.
That's true. Yeah, if you really, but there's sort of this stigma almost about sincerity. Like, people don't appreciate just kindness.
Yeah.
It seems like you can't accept it. It seems like either it's being sarcastic or it's something to be ridiculed. Something to, laugh at somebody about, that they would try to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one night I had just sort of a moment where I realized I was getting really mad at Heroes of the Storm. Just really mad at specific people.
We've all been there. Yeah.
And it kind of hit me that, like I said, we're just all people and they're all just like me. We're playing the same game,
just differently.
Right. And there's not that many people that play that game. So, like, I wrote sort of a little thing about it, about if anybody, we're just going to go with Heroes of the Storm specifically because we both play that.
Sure.
If somebody moved in next door to you who played Heroes of the Storm, you would be really excited, right? Like, if you were just talking to the guy and he's like, "Oh yeah, I like to play a lot of Heroes of the Storm," you'd be pumped because that's what we play.
Yeah.
Right? And then you play with them, and he's the worst player you've ever seen.
Yep.
But he's your neighbor, and it's okay because he's somebody that you know who plays your game.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, and it's no matter what, no matter their skill level. If they were a Grandmaster, if they were Bronze 5, it would be awesome that you had somebody that played this game. And I think that that's part of what has drawn us apart, is that there's so many different games, and that even the ones that you play together, you're not with these people, right? So, what am I trying to say here? If they moved in next door, that would be great, blah, blah, whatever. I'm trying to get back there. That's how we should be treating everyone. We're just people. Everyone is just a person. And it's hard to...
So I've got two things that I want to say to this. So the first thing is just finishing up the policing.
Right, sorry.
So, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You had a thought. You need to get it out. It's fine. What ended up happening was he got kind of kicked out, right? Not physically kicked out. Like, we didn't say, "Hey, you're not allowed to come back to the store." You threw him out like Jazzy Jeff, and it was he would walk around and try to talk to people and interact, but because he was such an ass, nobody wanted to talk to him.
Right.
So he was excluded until he got better in the games, and he'd turn around and at the end of them say, Good game, man. Had a good time. Shake the person's hand, walk away. Once he got to that point, people started to trust him again, and he was eventually back into the community. So it's not like you can't work your way back into it. It's, it's this whole stigma, I guess, that especially this newer generation that doesn't understand what face-to-face interaction is like, needs to get out and socialize and be excluded from a community because they understand that personality that they have on the internet, when they try to put that into real life, it doesn't work.
Right.
You fail.
That's interesting. And maybe it has a lot to do with being able to just mute someone. In a game, if somebody's being toxic to you, you can just click and not hear them anymore. Yeah. Right? That's become sort of a... I don't know how to put it. It people playing these games, right? There are some, like trolls. We'll just talk the trolls. The people who are just there to make it a bad time.
Yeah. Have you seen The Birds?
Wait, that movie with the birds?
Yeah, the movie with the birds.
Oh, wait, you're talking about that Alfred Hitchcock movie with the birds?
Yeah,
And then that girl, the birds are all angry, they're pissed off, and they're attacking, right?
Yeah. So for everybody else, Marcus was just like going on this huge rant, trolling people.
Very specific. We were playing Heroes of the Storm with our friend Marcus, and we queued in with 2 other people, and these people were quite toxic.
Yeah.
Right? And I think they were just mostly playing off of each other. They were both kind of...
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
And so Marcus just started explaining the movie The Birds to them for 20 minutes. And it appeared to frustrate them.
So we kept going.
Right. And even now that I think about it, and it makes me laugh now and it made me laugh then, but why? Why did I get joy from that? And I think...
It's because you excluded them. You policed and pushed them out of your small social circle, out of your community.
Right.
Because they were being toxic. And they did the same thing because Marcus was being toxic.
Right, and I feel bad. I feel bad for them because I think it's mostly a defense mechanism. I think that the toxicity comes from being scared of exclusion. So you pre-exclude yourself. They were those 2 people who were in a group together. Right, and they were both playing off they were saying some mean things.
Yeah, they were playing off each other for sure.
But it was them together, and I think it was as a way because say they had played really terribly.
It's the thing they have in common is
right.
what you're trying to get at.
But it's the thing they're scared. I think they were scared, and I think a lot of people who are immediately toxic are scared of putting themselves out there and being rejected by the group.
Sure.
So by being toxic, you say, well, I wanted to be excluded, so it's okay. Mm-hmm. That's what my goal was. But I don't think...
It's harder to earn and hold respect from people that you don't know than it is to just have them reject you.
Exactly. It's easier just to say... You know what? I think it all comes down to the fear. I think it's just being scared. You say, "What if I play really, really badly, and these people see me, and this is so important. It's so important."
But it's not.
But it's
quick
not.
play.
Right. It was, actually, that was ranked, and even then.
Oh, it was. Yeah, you're right.
It's not important because, like I was telling my friend, what. If I won every game of Heroes I played from now until forever, right? What is my prize?
Nothing. Well,
you
aside
could
from
say
maybe some money.
If I became a professional, sure. But if I could win every game, hey, if I hit every basketball shot, I'd be in an NBA too. But the only real prize, other than being a professional, is playing more of the game. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, after I finish a game, win or lose, worst game ever, best game ever, my prize is to play the next game.
Yeah.
And they're not that different, the games. They have their moments, but it is, at its core, the same game.
Yeah.
Right? So we've put so much of our self-worth into this because we spend so much time with it. Like Heroes, I've spent an unconscionable amount of time playing that game. And I think that's why I take it so seriously, because I feel like I should be great at it. And when I'm not great at it, it makes me mad.
Okay,
and it makes me sad.
Yeah, so tying back into this my second point from earlier. You can't. I'm not going to say can't. You can. You absolutely can climb the ladder to Grandmaster. The games become easier if you find a 5-stack or a 6-stack if you're into Overwatch, something like that. World of Warcraft, same thing. You find the same. That's why guilds exist. You find the same 25 people to run the same raid every week until you down it.
Over and over again.
The reason why you do it that way is because eventually, it might take some time. It could take, a couple of weeks, it could take a couple of days, or it could take years. Nobody knows. For a team to be cohesive enough and work together well enough to actually hit their peak performance. And each individual, as part of that, hitting their peak performance.
Right. I think that's what was that's what made WoW groundbreaking, is that you slowly get better. I remember the day I bit the Lich King. I remember the day I bit him, and he tasted cold and ice. I remember the when we beat the Lich King in our 10-man group, that we had spent the last who knows how many months and months and months going through that same raid over and over again.
Yeah.
Until we all slowly got good enough to beat that guy. That was a transcendent moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you're talking about. That's.
But what is inclusive of that?
What do you mean?
Well,
Speak on that.
Yeah, what comes along with that is a community. You've literally built yourself a community that works so well together that you're able to overcome large obstacles.
Right. That's beautiful. That's
right?
a beautiful thing.
And that's literally why everything that I talk about is about bringing the people together to play the video games, as opposed to some online mask, of anonymity across the internet and playing with other people. The reason why that other person is trash is because they're not thinking the same way that you are. He has one strategy in mind, or she, and you have your strategy in mind. And because you guys have never played together or even spoken about the game to understand where you're going with it,
you just kind of have.
You're always going to be bad.
Right.
That's why inherently, if you get into a pickup group, it could very much go very, very sour very, very quickly.
Right. And here's what I want to get to, like, throughout this podcast, because obviously we're going to be talking about bringing people together.
Yeah.
But I want it not just to be about gaming. I want it to be about life, bringing people together and showing them that every person they're meeting, every person that they agree with and disagree with, and every person they hate and every person they love, are all infinitely more similar than we could ever imagine.
Yeah.
We all think we're all these. It's all about being an individual right now. They say, watch any of the commercials on television and just listen. And it's all about, you're a one-man wolf pack. And you're not like the rest. You don't want to be in that regular, stupid SUV. You want to be in our cool one with our 2 sunroofs and 6 cup holders or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But if you watch it, all this media is targeted towards individualism.
Mm-hmm.
But as we've discussed, it all works better as a group, right?
Always. 100% of the time.
Especially when you've been together for a while, but even not, it's important that when you're going out in your day-to-day life, and especially your gaming life, you've got to project kindness and empathy. You've got to be out there and understand that these people are just people.
And there's not a single aspect of this Like, I couldn't agree more, simply because you can't run a business if you don't do it this way.
Right. Because a business is all about people.
It's all about people. It's all about the people that you know, but also at the end of the day, you have to be able to be willing to accept help from other people. Right?
Yes.
You have to you can't be an individual and run a store.
See, that's also...
It's impossible.
I like that. It's very important that when you need help, you should ask for help.
Yeah.
And it's not...
Or and this is the more important one. If people offer to help you, accept it.
Accept it. It's... Right. It's an insecurity. It's all about the insecurity of being... I can do this, and even if somebody does want to help me, I should be able to do it myself.
Well, that's part of it.
But okay.
The other part, I think, is, oh, well, if this guy helps me, then I have to help him. And that's not how this works.
Okay, I understand
right?
that.
Yes, it is a two-sided No, you don't always have to repay it. And you know, on television especially, people like to think that... I'm sure you've seen like House of Cards.
Yes.
If somebody, you know, helps you do something, now you have to help them do something,
And,
even though you don't. Yeah,
right.
You owe them something. You don't owe them anything, right? Most of the time, in person anyway, people are fairly genuine, unless you come across a con artist, and they really want to help you. I have volunteers at the store. They're only volunteers because they wanted to help me. I didn't ask them, hey, I'm hiring volunteers, please come and help me.
Right.
It was, I love the store a lot, Josh. I want to help you keep it running. How can I help?
I believe I've said that exact sentence to you before. I love the store and I want to
so
help.
have half a dozen other people.
Right, because it's you've given us a place to be us. There's not a lot of places where, at least in public, you know, other than cons, maybe, you know, the BlizzCons, the Otakons, all those, that a bunch of nerds can get together and just be themselves with no fear, because there is this stigma still attached to nerddom. You know, even though it is absolutely mainstream now, there is still sort of a stigma that makes you feel... What's the word?
Excluded?
Not necessarily. Well, yes, definitely, but it makes you feel like it's something wrong. Not necessarily wrong, but it feels like
you're not normal.
Right. Like you know, if
like I should like football and sit down every Sunday and watch NFL and
yes,
you know,
and no.
like,
I get yes, but that's more of a specific. I just mean in a general term. Like if my mom asked me what I was doing today and I said playing video games, she's gonna, if that's all I did, it sort of feels like there's this stigma attached to, you know,
oh, you're lazy.
Right. There's that with the game.
There's always
gaming,
there's always a negative connotation that comes with being a video gamer.
Exactly.
Or just a gamer in general. You know, I would even say that, and this is unfortunate on my part, when I was in high school, even though I played video games, I made fun of kids playing Magic the Gathering and D&D and stuff like that, because, you know, these kids were socially awkward most of the time.
D&D very specifically, I think, is there's still a stigma attached to that.
Not as much.
Not as much, and certainly within the community of gamers and self-declared nerds, I think Dungeons and Dragons has less of a stigma than ever.
Yeah.
But in the general world, you know, the capital W world, there is that is sort of the gold standard of nerddom. Like, oh, what do you play, Dungeons and Dragons? Like if I said that to my dad, if I was like, oh, if he asked me what I was doing this weekend and I said Dungeons and Dragons, he would automatically turn into a jock high schooler, you know, the stereotypical. That whole world, it's a little bit of the way. Okay, no, that's not what I'm thinking. I got lost there. We'll cut this. Beep, beep, bleep, bleep. This is our first time. Cut me a little slack, I'm thinking.
No, I mean, I think we've done a great job so far, so we're
know.
going to keep this up.
I'm having a great time. I don't even
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
me
record.
too.
I just want to
Yeah.
sit and talk to you for a while because you're a great guy.
So, we're getting close to the top of the hour here, but I think, I want to start doing like a call to action, right? So what I'm going to say is I would challenge everybody that listens to this to take some time to find a game, find a friend, sit down on the couch and play it with them. Even if the split screen sucks. Yeah, split screen on Call of Duty's always been ass. So is, any shooter.
Even if you have to pass it back and forth. If you have to pass the controller back and forth and take turns.
Yeah, even that's
together.
cool. Even that's cool. And for anybody that's really interested, try to find a local LAN center, right? Try to find a place. It doesn't even have to be a LAN center, to be quite frank. I know here recently, bars have been opening themselves up to esports. So, like, if you have an event that's going on, like HGC is going on right now. I'm sure some of the League of Legends stuff is going on right now. OWL, right? The Owls, the Overwatch League. Just go into a bar and say, hey, I want to hook my computer up to your TV, and I want to invite a bunch of people. I'm going to hop on Reddit. I'm going to hop on this and that, and make a couple posts and see if I can't get some people in here. I just want this one TV. Would you mind doing that for me? And most of the time they're going to say sure. And don't be discouraged if somebody doesn't show up the first time. So I deal with this on a regular basis.
Of course. Yeah.
We start a new tournament type. Hearthstone is one of them. We got 50 people out for Nimsy, so I'm thinking, oh, hell, I can at least tap into at least 15 people. Started holding weekly Hearthstone tournaments. What happens? 3 people show up every week. Then 2 people. Then 1 person. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I'll always be there for you, Josh. Always.
Just keep trying your hand at it. Maybe it's not a weekly thing. Maybe it's better as a monthly thing. Maybe it's better as a quarterly thing.
And I'll throw a little call to arms out there too, but my own, on my side. Any of these games you're playing, meet somebody. And find somebody who you don't think is very good. And treat them with respect and kindness, like any other person you would, like any of your friends. Cut someone some slack.
Talk to them like you would talk to your grandmother.
Talk to them like you would talk to your best friend. Talk to them like they just moved in next door to you. And you are super pumped that they're playing the same game that you're playing. Like, that's just... Go out there and treat somebody with respect. That's what I want you to do. That's what we're asking, is to treat people with respect, but bring them together. And it doesn't just have to be a LAN gaming center. You can find any tabletop store. There's one in Short Pump I know that's got some tabletop stuff. Start a Dungeons and Dragons game. Get that stigma out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Just be with people. Try to be with some people. Yes. And, play video games or just sit and record a podcast if you want. Stream of consciousness, talk about things you enjoy.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't know. I feel pretty content about all this. I think we did a great job. In fact, I think... hold on. Let me check. We're getting reviews in. Oh, my gosh. Glowing. All glowing. I thought you did a great job. Love my... Never mind. I'll just mark that out. Okay. Well, that's... I guess that's it for our inaugural episode of Good Luck, Have Fun with Josh and Devin. I'm Devin.
And I'm Josh.
We're not going to do that every time. But all right. I like it. Have a great night, everybody.